Good afternoon, Prairie View Christian Church. Today is November 4th, 2020. It's time for your midweek update. The sun still came up today, regardless of all the events of yesterday evening. You may have seen that we sent out a special blog post devotion on Monday in time for the election. If you hadn't voted early, maybe you read that before you went to the polls. Obviously, we are dealing with a very, very, very close election. As of right now, there still hasn't been a final call, so we don't know who's going to be the president in January of 2021. But now that we have kind of had a little bit of the dust settle, and now that we know a little bit of what we're dealing with, I think that gives us some clarity about how we as Christians can be praying. At this point, I think we can be praying for a few things, namely that the election would come to an end in a way that is fair and appropriate, that all the right votes would be counted in all the right places, and that whatever result comes from that, whether it is another 4 years of Donald Trump or whether it's 4 years of Joe Biden, we should be praying for a smooth, peaceful, dignified, civil transition. So I would encourage you to be praying for that in the days ahead. Hopefully we'll know something soon. But again, if nothing else, it's nice to know that we woke up today and the sun was still shining, gravity was still working. It's a beautiful day outside. So even if things didn't go the way you expected or the way that you wanted, there is still much to praise God for, and there's still a lot to pray about, all that stuff that I just said. Now, on top of that, for your midweek update, a few of the usual reminders. First things first, we want you to RSVP for worship this coming Sunday, November 8th. We'll be back in the Psalms, in our genres of Psalms, specifically focusing on Psalms of lament. And the psalm that we'll focus all of our attention on is Psalm 69. It is a long psalm. It's all over the board. We'll talk about that on Sunday morning, as we often are during seasons of lament and hardship and grief in our own lives. So we'll be reading Psalm 69, talking about how a psalm of lament, even though it can be kind of a downer, it can point us to Christ, and it can point us to God's grace. It can point us to encouragement and faithfulness and obedience and worship, and it can be a help to us in our Christian life, even if it seems a little bit depressing when you read it. So RSVP for this coming Sunday, November 8th, as we read in Psalm 69. On top of that, we do have a men's breakfast coming up this Friday. That will be November 6th. We will be meeting here at the church at 7 a.m., so feel free to bring breakfast, bring a mask, bring all the normal stuff that you would need. We may consider meeting inside. Your small group leaders may have reached out to you. We did decide at our past elders meeting that we are open to the concept of small groups meeting inside the church. Again, specifically the church, not your homes, because the church is better suited for social distancing. We are okay with small groups meeting inside the church with masks, with social distancing. So our men's breakfast might be meeting inside this coming Friday. You'll have to talk to Joe Fenimore for more information about that. We'll be finishing up Matthew chapter 27, maybe even getting into chapter 28 as well. And that's the case whether we meet inside or outside. So be prepared for either one, and talk to your small group leader if you're curious about how this change in our Prairie View coronavirus policy may affect your small group moving forward. So men's breakfast this Friday at 7 a.m. We also still have our upcoming Operation Christmas Child Collection Day. That is just going to be 1 week away from this Sunday. So if you haven't done your shopping yet, now's the time to do it. Again, they have an all online option if you would prefer to do that. Go to the Operation Christmas Child website for more information. So I think that pretty much covers it for this week, honestly. If you come to church on Sunday morning, if you drive by sometime between now and Friday and you see a bunch of political signs out front, I assure you that is not because we endorse any of those people. It is because we served as a polling location yesterday and we have a bunch of signs that are still here. And by the time Friday rolls around, in all seriousness, if they're still out there, I'll probably start pulling them up. Political campaigns and candidates, consider yourselves warned. You've got a couple days to come pick up those signs. If you don't come pick them up soon, they will be sitting in a pile under our awning by the front door. So come pick up your sign. And if you drive by, we don't endorse those people. So with that pretty much covers our midweek update. Again, we have a lot to pray about for our country, for the election, hopefully coming to a timely and obvious answer sooner rather than later with a peaceful transition, if there is in fact a transition. Also RSVP for Sunday as we read in Psalm 69. Be ready for the men's breakfast this coming Friday. Talk to your small group leader if you are interested in learning more about the change to our small group policies that we made public this past week. And of course, keep filling those Operation Christmas Child shoe boxes. So that covers it for the midweek update. Have a great rest of your week, and we hope to see you on Sunday morning. Take care.